Hi, everybody. Okay, so this is going to be my first attempt at making a video that is not just for my guildmates, that is for public view. I have been playing this game for almost 3 years now, and I have built accounts up to 900 million might and sold it, and built a couple more T4 accounts. I would say I'm definitely somewhat of an addict when it comes to Lures Mobile. Okay. But one of the questions I'm asked very, very often is, how did you get your gear so good? How did you get such good stats? And let me just start by saying, I didn't always know how to do this. I made a lot of mistakes and learned from my mistakes, and I would love to prevent others from making these mistakes. So I'm going to start with going to my workshop, and we're going to go to the event equipment. One of the first things I'm going to tell you is do not go through these sets and make one of each piece. That is the biggest mistake that I see people do, and in my mind, when I first started, that actually made a lot of sense, and I did that myself. And the problem with that is that there are some rare materials that you need for some of these sets and some of these pieces that if you are building one piece from each set, it makes it extremely difficult to upgrade the pieces to a point where they're really helpful. So we're going to start with the champion set. If I were to suggest to anybody what pieces they should build in the champion set, it is these three pieces right here: champion light, champion lamp, or champion guitar. And the reason being is that there are very few pieces of gear that offer training speed boost, and these three are one of them. However, they're all offhands, and again, you really, especially with the champion pieces, and I'll show you why in a minute, want to focus on only one piece at a time. And if you don't believe me, look up how much it costs to get a full champion set to Mythic. It's extremely expensive and hard to do. And the reason is, and I have chosen to work on the champion light. I have a blue. I want to get it to purple. If I were to try to make it purple right now, I would need one more champion of the Crimson Mane. And these Crimson Manes are extremely rare. And they're a little easier to get now than they used to be because they do have the Kingdom Tycoon where you can collect the gray ones and the champion chests. But even then, you can open champion chests all day long and maybe get one or two of these, if that. Or there are, luckily now, these $19.99 packs that you can buy that come with 20 gray ones, but still that only gives you, see, 4 greens or 1 blue or whatever. Like it's extremely hard to do. So you don't want to spread those out to the point where you can't upgrade your pieces to where they're beneficial. So I would say choose one of those pieces, depending on, maybe what your best stats are compared to your other gear or your heroes. But for me, I personally really like the champion light. Okay, so, and we're going to be moving on. So you want to get a really good mixed set. And keep in mind, you cannot use your best pieces until you're level 60. However, you can build your pieces before you're level 60. Not only can you build your pieces before level 60, but building and upgrading level 60 pieces actually gives you lots of experience points. And I would even say, if you're going to be building a lot of those and doing a lot of stuff on your account, go down here, to your shield, or go right over here to your little shield area, go to your player experience boost, and, you know, use the 2,500 gems, because it's, you know, a good boost to what experience you would normally be getting. But what we're going to focus on today is having a really good mixed set. And so we're going to look at mine. And mine is actually, I would suggest a couple of deviations from this, only because mine is kind of put together based on where I had my stats when I first did this preset gear set, where my jewels were. And in fact, I'll probably end up changing this soon, because a lot of that has changed since I've upgraded my gear and some of my jewels. But for the most part, the Frostwing set is one of the best pieces, because it offers both ranged, cav, and infantry attack. It's one of the very few pieces, maybe the only piece, that offers all 3 troop type attacks. It's also one of the easier pieces to upgrade, so keep that in mind. But we're going to go over here, and this is the easiest way to get your best mixed gear set. I would say start with one of the champion offhands, the Katar, the Light, or the Lamp. We're going to skip Hard Rocks because it doesn't offer any attack. It does, however, offer training speed, and it's, besides those champion pieces, the only pieces that offer you any kind of training speed boost. So, and then Voodoo Shaman, we're going to skip over that because that has no battle, but that is your familiar set. And there are only a couple of sets where I would say build all of those pieces, and that would be your Hard Rock set, your Voodoo Shaman set, and your Hunter set. Other than that, don't do it. You want to focus on your level 60 pieces from each of the event equipment sets. So you want to go to your Storm Tacet, and you build it and you upgrade it as far as you can. Even if you can't use it, go ahead and build it and upgrade it. And don't fool with these other things, because they end up taking from what you would eventually have for your really good pieces. You know, you're better off just going without some of this, going without gear, or building free-to-play gear from materials that you get from Smashing Scrolls and Gathering, etc. So, Storm Tacet in the Tidal Titan set, the Ambrosia Cup from the Bon Appetit set, Bumble Helm from the Queen Bee set, Firewall Plate, Mecha Trojan sets, the Dragon's Talons, and this is actually where I do deviate just a little bit, because some of these level 50 and level 55 pieces are really good and easy to upgrade, but you kind of have to weigh what you are hoping to get in the end. And if you do decide to build the Dragon's Fist or the Dragon's Iris and upgrade them to Mythic, you will be taking from your Dragon's Talons, and it will take you longer for you to get them to Gold or Mythic. Saberfang is Beast Helm. And Nocera set, whole other story. That's your research, construction, and gathering gear. Don't worry about that. The Eternal Codex from your Grim Reaper set. And here's another set that kind of deviates a little bit. The Burning Scroll piece is a great piece, and if at level 55 or below 60 but above level 55 you decide you really just want some good pieces, that Burning Scroll is amazing because it has an army attack to it. However, the Skull Crusher is amazing, and in the long run it will take you longer to get your Skull Crusher to a higher level if you aren't reserving those rare pieces, the rare materials for that. Mega Maggot, Blight Ring, all the way, Blight Ring. Excuse me. And as of right now, I'm actually working on a second blight ring because honestly, none of these other pieces are worth it, in my opinion. So keep in mind, a lot of this is my opinion. A lot of it is from stuff that I've learned. So the Gargantua set, that's another one that deviates a little bit. That Fear Drum is amazing, is an amazing piece. And it's really worth it to take away from your Gargantua belt to make one or two of these Fear Drums to Mythic before you get to level 60 if you're really wanting some good pre-level 60 gear. Terrorthorn. This piece right here. This is one of those where I would say hold off on the Terror Shield. You know, if you really want a good chest piece, you want to go with that Firewall plate, okay? And the Terror Shield's great. However, these Terror Vials are amazing for infantry stats, and they're relatively easy to get to Mythic. And you can use them from level 50. So, you know, when you're talking about infantry accessories, the best ones are Terror Vial, and go back up here to your Bon Appetit, the Ambrosia Cup. Until you have that Ambrosia Cup to gold or Mythic or maybe even purple, these are your go-tos right here, your Terror Vials. They kick butt, 22%. Then when you add jewels to it, amazing pieces. Go with the Jade Worm set. We're going to go with the Wormbone Coronet. Not only does it add to your range attack, but it has research speed boost, which is one of the only pieces for your headpiece that offers research speed. So it's a really good piece. As far as the Snow Beast set, personally, at this point, my offhands that I have, which are my Champion Light, my External Codex, and my Dragon's Fist are better. However, I mean, especially for range, I have my External Codex. However, I have heard that the Winter Mitts are a really good piece for defense, like especially for traps, etc. I'm not a trap. I like to attack, and so I want the most attack I can get, which is what I get from my External Codex. But it is something that it is a really good piece, and I do have it. But as of right now, my gold External Codex is better, and I don't necessarily want to spread my jewels across a whole bunch of different pieces. So, but as far as the other stuff in that set, forget it. Just leave them alone. Griffin set, not attack. We're going to stay away from that. But there is your construction research pieces that are extremely helpful. And then Frostwing. You want that Frostwing sword. That Mythic Frostwing sword is one of the best pieces, most versatile pieces that you can have in your gear. And everybody should have a good mixed gear set. Now, when you're trying to figure out how to set up your mixed gear set, basically you want to look at which pieces offer at least 2 troop types, add attack to at least 2 troop types, and then you put them together. And again, Frostwing is one of the only ones that offers all 3. And so now we're going to talk about jewels. Okay, so this is my mix set. Most of my pieces have one of each type: cav attack, ranged attack, and infantry attack. For my mixed sets. And talking about that, not all of my pieces, but most of my pieces, that's how they are set up. When it comes to jewels, so let's go look at the jewels real quick. So when it comes to jewels, you have your gray, which offers 1%, green offers 3%, blue offers 6%, purple is 12%, and gold is 20%. All right. You do not want to merge all your jewels together and use one blue and have the rest of this blank, or one gold even and have the rest of them blank, because each one of those jewels add to your attack. So if you merge all of your jewels to one gold, it's only offering 20% attack to it. However, if you have 4 purple jewels and you spread those throughout your gear, you're going to have 48%. So one of the mistakes a lot of new players make is wanting to get those gold jewels and putting them in their gear, but then it costs a lot of money or a lot of gems to pull them back out if you need to, once you've discovered that that's not exactly the best for your stats. You want to try to spread your jewels around until you have enough to fill in all of your pieces, and then make a gold one and put it in. Okay, so with mine, I have, like with this piece, I have gold, and the only reason I do is because I have enough of the purples and everything else for it to be beneficial. But I don't have a gold range jewel in there, even though I could, because it would take away from my other pieces, because I don't have enough. And range jewels seem to be the hardest to get for most people. So let's just look at my worm bone, my worm rod. Now, and then again, it's not that you don't want these other pieces that are available in these sets, except for maybe Frostwing. None of those are really worth it. But like the Terrathorn set, let's go to the Wormbone set, or let's say the Bon Appetit set. Actually, none of these pieces are actually okay. All right, so your Bumblehelm set. It's not that you don't want these other pieces. It's just that the stats offered by the Bumblehelm compared to the other pieces is so much higher that it's more beneficial to work on that piece first and get it upgraded as high as you can, or to Mythic, in best case scenario, and then work on the other pieces, the Hardened Carapace, the Nectar Orb, but like with the Firewall, or the Mecha Trojan set, these pieces are really good. The Militia Saw, the Viral Switchblade. However, they're not nearly as good as, like a Firewall Plate, which is offering 42%, and 28%. Look at the difference in those stats there. They're not nearly as good as the Mythic Firewall Plate. So you want to focus those rare materials, the ones that are really, really hard to find, the ones that are elusive, on those level 60 pieces. And once you get them to, Mythic, and you can't upgrade them higher, then go ahead and build the Militia Saw and the Viral Switchblade, or whatever else you want to build. Like, here I have my Mythic Frostwing Sword, so now I'm like, okay, I'll make the Frostwing Breath and the Frostwing Helm and the Frostwing Armor. I probably won't use them because they're not worth it compared to the level 60 pieces that I have for those pieces, for that gear spot. So I think that's the best advice I can give, and hopefully it helps some new players and keeps some new players from wasting money by breaking up what materials that they would have. And I'm not a professional streamer, but I figure this video will help somebody. If not, well, at least I can share it with my guildmates when they ask me from now on, so I don't have to explain it all over again. And that's it for today. Enjoy.